Hi folks, welcome to Follow the Leader, a podcast focused on telling character-driven stories through the use of GM-less tabletop games where we can all take the lead. You can find us on Twitter and Tumblr at FTLcast. We also have a Patreon at patreon.com/FTLcast. Today we're playing Coffee Shop AU by S. Donnelly. For those who are new to this game, here are the basics. This is a love story. No matter what else this game ends up becoming when you play it, it should be a love story first and foremost. Because whoever these characters are in other lives, here and now they are normal people, and in this kind of story, normal people get to fall in love too. I'm Dora. You can find me on Twitter at HarpyDora, and my pronouns are they, them. Playing with me today, we have...
Just me. I'm Sam. You can find me on Twitter at SAKalo, and you can find my Etsy store at etsy.com/shop/SAKalo. Yeah, it's just us two today. We're doing a fun little two-person game today.
Yep. It's very exciting. So our lines, which are things we absolutely do not want to see, are homophobia and transphobia, racism, sexism, violence against children and animals, sexual assault, domestic violence or intimate partner violence, and unwanted pregnancy. Our veils, which are things we're fine with addressing but will just fade to black on, are steamy situations and graphic descriptions of bodily harm. Now that we've got all that, let's get started. So, thankfully, we shouldn't be running up against any risk of our lines or veils today because, like we said at the top, this game is called Coffee Shop AU, which, if you've ever been on fanfiction.net or AO3 ever, you should be pretty familiar.
I like how you first went to fanfiction.net.
Well,
sorry for the crosstalk.
No, it's fine.
I like how the first thing that you got thought of was fanfiction.net, a website I don't think anybody's used in fucking years.
We're kicking it old school here.
I mean, I guess.
But anyway, so to start off, first we have to choose which one of us is going to play the barista and which one will play the stranger, which we already have. I'll be playing the stranger today, and Sam will be playing the barista. The game says you can choose characters from another game you've played together, which is actually what we're doing. We're dusting off some characters from a Dungeon World campaign that we were in together, and...
We sure are. Dora was the DM.
Yeah, it was good, but...
It was a very good game.
Thank you. But yeah, so we're dusting off these characters, and... So, Sam, introduce your barista.
All right, so my barista's name is Galen, guarded by the grace and glory of our illustrious Shining Lord. And he is a half-elf, and he, in his original setting, was, like, the crown prince of the whole, like, nation that the game was taking place in. But in this setting, he's just, like, the rich heir to, like, an incredibly wealthy family. I'd have to look up his dad's name, but it's equally as ridiculous. But yeah, so Galen's just this, completely fucking useless, has never had to work a day in his life, kind of rich heir, and he's decided that he's gonna prove to his parents that he's, like, a real person, and that he can, like, exist on his own, and he doesn't need them. He's, hitting his rebellious teen phase at age 25. So yeah, that's Galen.
And I'll be playing Arthur Gently and Without Complaint, who is an elf. He's 400 years old, and originally, when he was in his youth, he was a cartographer, but since this is modern day, there's not a whole lot of use for cartographers anymore, so he works at a museum working on preservation of, like, old maps and old books.
I think it's a very good way to sort of turn what his character is around. Oh boy, my audio was real quiet just there because I was looking the other way at my other monitor. Look, sometimes I'm bad at this whole podcast thing, and I have too many computers. Yeah, Arthur, let's say this straight up, Arthur was originally intended to be Galen's love interest in the original game.
Yeah, it was...
And that's why we're bringing them back for this.
It was how I got Sam to play, was like, I'll build you a boyfriend.
And Dora did deliver with building me the best boyfriend in the whole world.
Alright, so the next thing that we have to do is we have to give our coffee shop a name and discuss what the shop looks like. And so what we came up with is Raven's Roast instead of Raven's Roost, and the sign is a raven with a nest that instead of eggs has coffee beans in it.
I love that. That's very good.
So we decided that it would be kind of cozy, tucked away between two bigger buildings, with lots of plants and fairy lights, which, since this is urban fantasy, are literally fairies floating around near the ceiling, and it has a little patio out front, and you basically have to walk into an alley to get in there. And,
sorry.
I was just gonna say, there are a lot of comfy chairs inside.
Yeah, like big leather, like soft.
Oh yeah. And at risk of being cliche, it's bigger than it looks from the outside. And I'm not going to say the other thing, but I'm sure you're all thinking it.
What I was going to say is that this is actually based on a coffee shop that I used to walk by every day in like downtown Chicago in the Loop, which I always thought looked like particularly like urban fantasy magical because there were like plants all like over the outside. There was a little patio, but like there were fairy lights strung between the two buildings as you approached it. It was very good. Like the two buildings on either side of it. And it was just this like little tiny squat, like fantasy looking house between these two high rises. It was incredible. So that's what this is based on because I've always wanted to set a story there because it is good. I'll try to get like a street view image of it up there, like in the show notes. But yeah.
Sounds good.
I love the logo. I'm just like thinking about the logo again and it's very good.
It's a good logo. So the next thing that we do is we each choose two side characters who will be a part of our story. Sam, as the barista, you get to go first.
So I've picked, so we have like a list in the rules. And so the secondary characters that I've picked for you are the stranger's childhood friend, which you have decided is named Alistair, and the stranger's coworker from their day job, who is Fatima.
And for Galen, I have chosen to be in the wrong tab. I've chosen the barista's close friend who is constantly texting them while they're at work, and someone from the barista's past.
Spooky. Mysterious. There's nothing about Galen that's mysterious. He will literally blurt out his life story to anybody who will listen to him. He's desperate for affection because he is a dumb baby. And because his parents are rich and thus had no time for him. He's got issues. I love him.
All right. Before the next thing is to start scenes. The two players alternate turns. On your turn, you frame the beginning of the scene involving your character. Establish how long it's been since the previous scene, where the scene is taking place, and who, if anyone, is there with you when the scene opens. And once per scene, we take a die, a 6-sided die. If a side character teases you about your affection for the other main character, a side character offers you sincere advice about your affection for the other main character, a side character informs you of their knowledge of the other main character's affection for you, or something in the world around you reminds you of your affection for the other main character.
Which is fucking adorable, by the way.
It's really good.
I love that shit. It's good.
And once per scene, you give the other player a die from the pool. If you compliment their character, you offer their character food or drink, you confess a secret to their character, or you make casual physical contact with their character.
This is a good game, y'all.
before we got started, I did want to read, because this is an important thing that they have in the source material, a note on subject matter. Flirting with someone who's just trying to make it through their day at a minimum wage job is pretty not okay in real life. That's why I think it's core to the genre that we see things from the barista's point of view, and we're aware of their crush and allow them to make the first move. I can't control to what degree this will be the case in your game, and indeed the dice may complicate things, but I encourage you to think about this as you move through your early scenes. If you're worried that something is coming across as creepy, or if you feel uncomfortable with anything at all, don't be afraid to pause, talk it out, and rewind or retcon as necessary. This is intended to be a cute, cozy game. If something is making you uncomfortable, it doesn't have a place here.
Which I think is, like, it's really good that that's in here. I really, like, appreciate that. Like, regardless of how much I fucking love coffee shop AUs, it's good that the person who wrote this game is acknowledging... What's the name of the person who wrote this game again?
S. Donnelly.
I'm glad that S. Donnelly is acknowledging that.
Yeah. Me too.
That's good.
Alright, so...
Alrighty. Let's get started. I guess it's my turn first.
Yep, so the barista takes the first turn. They take one die from the pool as soon as the stranger enters the coffee shop for the first time.
Which, you know, is indicative of falling instantly in love.
Yep.
Or not. It just means that I have the upper hand here, which I, you know, as per the note on subject matter.
Yep.
Alright, so how does this start? Because the first scene, I would say, begins with, you know... Oh, okay, wait. I'm just looking at... So, on my turn, I frame the beginning of a scene involving my character. So basically, like, this scene doesn't have to involve the other character.
I mean, it technically doesn't, but, you know...
But it should, obviously. But it's like, that means that we can do sort of interstitial scenes where, like, stuff like the other something in the world around you reminds you of your affection for the other main character, then, like, I text them or something.
Yep.
You know? Doesn't always have to be like the first scene, which is, you know, gonna be Galen is working and, you know, puttering around behind the counter and, like, trying his best. He's doing his best, y'all. He definitely breaks a mug, like, immediately.
Oh no.
And is busy cleaning that up when Arthur walks in.
Alright, I'm giving you a die in the dock.
Alright, and I have taken one on the table, because I have a pile of 14 dice sitting next to me.
Yeah, I don't have enough room to spread out my d6s, so I'm just keeping track in the document, and I'll be using a dice roller instead of being fancy like some people.
I just have a lot of dice, and I need an excuse to use them.
Alright, so I think... So Arthur works at a museum that's, like, right next to the coffee shop, but this is definitely his first time coming in, and he's... How do you feel about it being a rainy day?
I am loving that, you know. See, now in my mind, like, this takes place in Chicago, so, like, Arthur works at, like, the Art Institute or something, which is, admittedly, like, down the street and, like, across one street from this coffee shop.
Well, if you can guide me on how to pretend that I've been to Chicago and know these areas, you know, this can be... It
doesn't have to be, like, that specific. It could be, like, fantasy Chicago where anything goes.
Yeah. So I think, you know, it's a rainy, gray day. I'm imagining Arthur has, like, a pea coat on with, like, the collar turned up. And, I don't know if he's... I don't know, is he alone or is, Fatima with him?
I don't know. I mean, is it, like, an actual break time? Or is he just, like, leaving work to grab some coffee because he's dying?
I like the second one better, so...
Alright, so I would say Fatima's probably not with him. He probably maybe offered to grab Fatima something while he was out.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm grabbing coffee. Let me get you some.
Yeah.
Or, do you want anything? I'm going out.
Yeah. I think that's where we are when Arthur comes in.
So, as Arthur enters this room, Galen... It appears that there's nobody behind the counter, because Galen is busy cleaning up the broken mug from the floor. But he does, like, hear the little bell above the door ring and go, just a moment. Sorry. I'll be right with you. And he's, like, kind of frantically cleaning things up.
Yeah, I think Arthur comes up to comes up to the counter and kind of like looks over the counter, like half expecting like a gnome to be behind this, you know, regular person, you know, human-sized counter.
I love it.
When he sees Galen, and he's like, ah.
Just a little mishap. Don't worry about it. I will be with you in just a moment. And he like finishes sweeping up the broken mug into like a dustpan and like dumps it in the trash. And just kind of looking around to make sure he doesn't step on any more sharp pieces and goes, right, how can I help you today? He like looks up at he's like, our specials are up here. They are. He's like kind of squinting at it because he's like, should be wearing glasses, but desperately refuses to. Our specials are up there. He kind of gives up. What can I get for you today? He's very excited.
Arthur looks up at the specials and is just like, see, this is a problem because Dora doesn't drink coffee.
Oh no.
So
I mean, like, Arthur strikes me as the kind of person who would be like, can I just get a black coffee?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Like we've got like, you know, fancy fucking drinks like a lavender mocha or something, and he's like, can I just get a black coffee? Like, I don't I don't understand newfangled baby coffee.
Yeah, so he's like, you know, maybe he's squinting at some writing on his hand because he took Fatima's order, and
that's good.
So he's just like, lavender matcha iced, very large.
Okay, I can do that. Very large. Okay, yeah. So you don't really strike me as the kind of person that would drink something like that. Like, Galen, you know, takes a plastic cup, because obviously this one's to go, and starts making... I like how you said matcha instead of mocha, because, like, that's also very good, but, like, maybe not what Fatima was intending.
Yeah.
So he you know, throws some of the lavender simple syrup in a cup with the matcha powder and, like, starts making that up.
Yeah, I don't even know if that would taste any good either.
Honestly, I think it might. It might be a little bitter, but it might taste pretty good.
Yeah.
It would be interesting, for sure.
Yeah.
I want to be clear, I'm not a barista. I just really like dumb coffee drinks. Like, the kind of things that one of my friends might call a hot milkshake of bullshit. That's the kind of thing that I love. I love, you know, like, just, like, absolutely, like, garbage, mostly sugar and milk type drinks. So I, like, know a lot about what tastes good together. But I'm not a barista. So yeah, he starts making that. He's like, anything else?
Yes, a coffee. Black.
What size?
Arthur looks at I'm assuming there's like a size indicator, and it's...
There's the you know, the three cups, the three, like, to-go cups, like, sitting on the counter. Like, one is pretty small, one is, like, a normal-sized coffee, and then the other one is, like, way too big for a normal person to drink, but, like, most people do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
yeah.
Do they have... Are they... Is it like Starbucks where they don't call it small, medium, and large? Do they have...
Oh, no, they're just called small, medium, or large. Galen would not be able to handle it otherwise.
Okay, good.
He, like, took the signs down that had the fun names and, like, put up new handwritten signs that have, like, small, medium, and large written on them. Or, like, taped it over them, the original signs.
Perfect. So Arthur's just like, large. The largest that you have.
Well, somebody's burning the midnight oil. What time of day is it, actually?
I don't know. Could it be like early afternoon? So like after the lunch crowd has gone?
Yeah. So it's like early afternoon, but like if you're drinking a coffee that large, you want to stay up all night.
Yeah.
So yeah, Galen hands him a large coffee cup and says, "The filter coffee's over there." Just like points at like a, you know, one of the big things you like push the top down and it like gives you filter coffee.
Yeah. I have an important question though.
Yes.
Do Galen's fingers brush Arthur's?
Oh, to like take his like money or whatever? When
handing over the coffee cup.
Handing over the mug. Yes, I think they do.
All right. I'm giving you...
He sort of like has a moment and goes, "Oh, I forgot to ask you if this was for here or to go, but I assumed you two were ordering two things it was to go. Sorry, I'm a little new here. I'm still kind of getting my bearings. There's, like, obviously somebody in the back that's, like, sitting on her phone, like, not paying attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she, like, whoever it is just, like, gives Galen a thumbs up. You're doing great, honey. And goes back to her phone. Like, she doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. And I think Arthur kind of smiles a little at that and is just like, yes, it's to go. We've got a long night ahead of us.
Oh boy, sounds exciting. What kind of stuff do you do? He's like, making this large bullshit matcha drink still, while Arthur's just kind of standing there holding the cup.
Arthur is just kind of standing there with the cup, and is just like, I work at the museum across the way, and we're prepping for a new what's it called?
Exhibition?
Yes. We're prepping for a new exhibition, and as you might guess, it's a bit of a pressing time.
I feel ya. God, I'm trying to decide, like, what did Galen go to college for? Probably something, like, really dumb and, like, esoteric and, like, absolutely useless.
Galen went for his MRS degree.
I don't know what that is.
Oh. That's, it's a joke. MRS misses when you go to college to get married.
Oh.
To catch your, to catch your next spouse.
Sorry, that's actually incredibly funny, and I've literally never heard that joke before in my life. At least not, like, said like that.
Oh.
That's really funny. I fucking love that. I don't know if he did that particularly, but I know that, like, he either got, like, a really, like a really esoteric history degree, like, ultra specific, could not do anything other than academia, and he doesn't want to do academia.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, he went to school for, like, I don't know if he's particularly, like, artsy, though. Like, my experience is, like, going to an art school, but I don't think Galen's particularly good at that, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think he's really good at anything. I'm mean to my boy because I love him.
Well, the history degree would work well since, Arthur works at a museum.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, so maybe he has, like, a really esoteric, like, medieval history degree.
Nice.
So, Galen's, continuing to putter around, like, hey, what's your exhibit on?
Shit.
What do you... You didn't think this through,
Shit,
huh?
now I have to come up with what the exhibition is.
You sure do.
I think Arthur rambles off, like, something about, actually, here we go. You've got an esoteric medieval history degree. Maybe it's a bunch of manuscripts from approximately that time period.
Nice. So, like, 1600 illuminated manuscripts, with, like, from, like, one Bible that they found, like, hidden under a desk in England, like, 3 years ago or some shit. Like, like, something extremely esoteric. Like, why would anybody come see this exhibition unless you were someone like Galen?
Yes.
Galen's, like, practically vibrating with excitement at this. Do you perhaps know when this exhibit might be open to the public? He's, like, clutching the like, matcha to his chest, like, Oh, wait, you gave me a dice, right?
I did.
Yes, so I'm adding that to my pile.
Because we did casual physical contact.
We sure did.
It'll be open next week if all goes well.
Oh, excellent. Oh, that sounds so exciting. I should let you go. Of course, that'll be, he, like, scrambles for he's a little flustered. He, like, scrambles for the cash register. Will you be paying in card or cash or blood This isn't a real thing, is it? He, like, looks back at the back room, like, blood favors? Blood tokens, really? She's just like, you have to say it. Nobody ever takes it, but you gotta say it. It's part of the rules. You got it. He's just like, or blood favors, I suppose. I don't know what that means. Please don't ask.
Yeah. Arthur fishes out his wallet, and I don't know how much these fancy drinks cost, but a 20 probably covers it with a nice hefty tip.
Yeah, they'll probably cover it. So does he, like, say that out loud?
Oh, God.
Or does he just sort of go, just keep the change?
Yeah, he goes, just keep the change, and then takes the drink and goes and gets the filter coffee before he leaves.
Have a pleasant day. I want to say, like, okay, so I get to give you a die if Okay. Well, I technically did offer you food or drink, but that's because
You're contractually obligated.
I'm contractually obligated to do that. So I don't think I had to make a roll at any point here, right?
Right.
Okay. Cool. I think that's scene.
Okay. Sounds good. Oh, and because we didn't cover this previously, what we're using the dice for is when your character is about to take an action that would tangibly, obviously progress the relationship, such as giving them their phone number, asking them out, holding their hand for the first time, saying I love you for the first time, kissing for the first time, etc., you make a roll. And to make a roll, you roll all of the dice that you have or that you've been given. It says in front of you, but we're not. Well, Sam's playing with physical dice.
I have them in front of me.
Yeah. You roll all the dice in front of you and take the highest number as the result. On the 6, you do what you intended to do, describe it, and give the other player one of your dice. On a 4 to 5, you lose heart and are too scared to make the move for now. If the other player has not yet made a roll in this scene, they can attempt to roll with the same goal, though it will mean that it's their character that takes the initiative. And on a 1 to 3, some external factor stops you. You get pulled away by someone else, your phone has technical issues at an inopportune moment, etc.
Oh no.
The scene ends soon after. Even in this situation, though it isn't really a failed roll, you'll still be able to do it if you want to, it's just going to take a little longer.
I was thinking, okay, so that makes sense why, like, you get more dice as you, like, do things to, like, subtly build up the relationship. I get it now. I thought that you just, like, got to roll one die and, like, that was your roll.
No.
I didn't read the rules very carefully, obviously.
Yep.
Look, I'm bad at reading, it's fine.
Yep, and after you resolve the roll, put all your dice back into the pool. If you do not roll before the scene ends, you keep the dice that you have. Each player has no more than one roll per scene, and since we didn't roll, we both get to keep our dice from the first scene.
So I have 2 and you have 1, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Alright. So, now it's your turn.
Actually, between every scene, there is a moment of reflection for each die you have in front of you. Say something about how your character feels about the other protagonist. If both players have dice in front of them, alternate back and forth until one person runs out of dice, after which whoever has more continues on their own. So you have 2 dice, you start, and then I'll go, and then you finish.
Alright, so, I mean, Galen's first impression of Arthur was, ooh, hot older man. Hell yeah. Exciting. And second impression was, oh, fuck, hot older man that knows what I am about. That's just 1 die.
So for my die, Arthur found the, I don't want to say bumbling, but like, you know, found
it's okay,
it.
You can.
he found the bumbling endearing, and so he thought, you know, that Galen was cute.
Aw. For my second die, I'm gonna say that, like, he's really excited that this dude, like, seems to know, like, seems somehow to have, like, completely known ahead of time what would immediately, like, get Galen interested in, like, knowing him as a person rather than just being like, nice, hot older dude. He has no idea that Arthur is, like, 400 years old. He's like, this dude's in his, like, 40s, and I can dig that.
Alright, so...
Elves live forever, yo.
Yep. Unless they diminish and then go to the west, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, are we working with Lord of the Rings rules then?
No, I'm just being a goofus.
God, you're so valid. It's fine. I know too much about Lord of the Rings anyway. Alright. So now it's your turn.
Yep.
So I get to keep these dice.
I kind of want to say that this is the next week at the opening of the exhibition.
Oh, fuck, that's good. Yeah, sorry, I'm just adding the mysterious coworker who is so far only a voice to our document so that we can pay attention to that.
No worries.
Okay, so yeah, the opening of the exhibition. Sounds good to me.
And I think it's, for maximum everything, it's a black tie event, so...
oh, fuck yeah.
Arthur has to wear a tux.
Fuck yes. oh, Galen is there, but he is wearing, like, the most ridiculous outfit. I say ridiculous. It looks very nice on him, but it's like, it's like he's wearing, I want to say he's wearing, like, sort of like a pale teal suit. It's a very, and it's like a very, like, dated cut, but not dated as like as in like in a bad way. It's like it's like vintage almost. I want to say it's somewhat similar to like his canon outfit, which doesn't mean anything to you guys, except that I'll just describe that it's like a 1700s court outfit from France. So it's like a coat that's got like a very round collar, and it's got a there's so much embroidery on it. It's all silverwork embroidery. I would say that it's a little bit toned down from that. It's a little bit more modernized, but there's definitely like a lot of embroidery on it. He looks very fancy, but he also looks very rich.
Fancy boy.
He's a very fancy boy, but he also looks extremely gay, because nobody but gay people looks like that anymore. Once this was common, but this is modern day, and so, like, he looks a little out of place, but, like, very fancy.
Nice. And I think it's because he looks a little out of place that's how Arthur notices him and comes over.
Hell yeah.
There's probably, he's probably got a flute of champagne from, you know, those roving people who have champagne and hors d'oeuvres and stuff. So he's probably got a flute of champagne. And he's just, oh, I wasn't expecting to see you here.
Galen is like nose to the glass, not literally, but like very, very close, like looking at like a particular page of this illuminated manuscript, and like really like, you know, he's like, holding one of those little tiny paper plates that's got like a couple of hors d'oeuvres on it, and he's so fucking excited. He's like, how much preservation work was required on some of these pieces? They're in exceptional shape. He's like looking at it, he's like, is all of this gold leaf original?
Most of it, not all, but it was in very good condition when it came to us.
Fascinating. He's like real excited, and he sort of shakes himself for a second. He goes, I'm sorry, Galen, it's nice to meet you again. Oh, you're the guy from the coffee shop.
Yes,
you came in last week.
I did.
You got your coworker lavender matcha, which is, again, interesting flavor combination.
It was not meant to be matcha, as it turns out, but thankfully she did not skin me alive for that. Yeah,
I actually can't imagine there's nearly as much caffeine content as she might have wanted.
Unfortunately, I had to sacrifice my coffee to her as well.
Ah, what a shame.
I'm Arthur, by the way.
Galen's kind of like hiding behind his hors d'oeuvre plate, like a little bit like embarrassed to have been like so excited about this like fucking piece of paper. Arthur, it's a pleasure to meet you more formally. Also, these kinds of like events are kind of like high key, like mostly for the rich people who support the museum, like the like high donors and stuff, like the board of trustees type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty hard to get an invitation to one of these events, and this is a kid that works at a coffee shop. He's probably more than a little out of place. Like, not really. He's like very in his element, but like Arthur probably has some questions about this. This is like unusual.
See, this is why I need your help.
It's fine. I know lots of things about museums, old illuminated manuscripts, and like art history. It's kind of an art history degree. Yeah, I think maybe that's what like Galen has, is like an art history degree, because he can't do art, but he likes looking at it and learning about it, and his family certainly owns enough old shit that it's something.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I think Arthur just kind of quirks an eyebrow and says, It's good to see you, but I wasn't expecting to see you here tonight.
Galen just sort of waves a hand and he's like, oh, you know, I have my connections, as do we all. He like winks at Arthur, which doesn't mean anything, Galen, you dumb shit. I pulled some strings. It's all, I was so excited to see some of these pieces. I just figured, well, I'm sure the grand opening would be a great place to do it. Not to have to come in, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to come in because I work during the day. So, he kind of like scratches the back of his head a little bit at that. Like, I have a job. He's like fucking, he's floundering. He's floundering a lot because, he was like, he thought about the fact that, oh, maybe the handsome stranger from last week would be there, but mostly he was like, fuck yeah, illuminated manuscripts.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I gotta ask my dad to get me tickets to this, gallery opening shit, because fuck yeah. His strings was calling his dad and being like, hi daddy, I love you, will you please buy me this, will you get me a ticket please?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm such a good functioning adult.
Yep.
So he's just sort of like waves it off. He's like, we all have our connections.
Evidently. And Arthur grabs another flute of champagne off of one of the waiter. That's what they're called. Waiters. Off of, one of the waiter's trays and offers it to Galen.
Galen takes it and his hand, like, does brush Arthur's kind of intentionally. And so I'm going to give you a die.
Technically, you owe me 2.
Oh, fuck. Why do I owe you 2? Did I give you a compliment?
Casual physical contact. Oh. No, you owe me 1 and I give you 1.
Oh, cool. So I take 1 and you take 1 in, like, the same instant.
Yep.
Nice. Galen, takes it and is like, oh, thank you. I appreciate it. He's, like, now, like, hiding behind the champagne flute. Like, he's got it, like, resting on his lip, but he's just sort of, like, he's, like, a giggly mess. He's, like, probably a little bit drunk already. He's probably had at least 1 champagne. Oh, important note. His hair is up, like, in the first scene, his hair was up in, like, a high ponytail. He looked, like, very peppy. In this scene, it's up in, like, sort of, like, a fancy, like, bun, like, chignon type thing. He looks, like, very gay. But he's like twirling some, like, a piece of his hair around his finger and is like, oh, thank you. Like, takes a sip. God. He's, like, extremely obviously flirting.
Arthur's not dense, so he kind of picks up on that, but the thing that I think he does, though, is he picks up more on the excitement and starts explaining, like, some of the processes that went into restoring the particular page that Galen had been admiring previously before he came up.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, Galen is immediately distracted from his flirting by this. He's like, he's oohing and ahhing at all the right moments and asking, intelligent questions and generally being, like, absolutely, like, monopolizing Arthur's time probably for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to end the scene, is them going through and talking about the manuscripts.
Yeah. Is there, like, a map somewhere, like, from like, maybe a different manuscript that's, like, also in this exhibition?
Yes.
Just, like, an old map that like, Arthur can be... Oh, fuck, what if it's something that Arthur made, like, 200 years ago? Maybe Arthur doesn't say anything about it, but, like, it's there as something we can go back to later.
Yes. The audience knows that Arthur had a hand in creating that map.
But the fucking idiots in the game don't. Our good children.
Yep.
All right. So that's a good scene. So now we have 3 dice each. Or no, you have 2 dice.
I have
and
2.
I have 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So I still get to go first on reflections.
Yep.
First of all, Galen is immediately smitten. Like, he went from being like, ooh, hot older man, to being like, fuck, I'm in love with this dude. Like, instantly. I would die for him in an instant.
Arthur was definitely charmed by the fact that Galen was interested in his work.
Galen also is real fond of how Arthur looks in a suit. Like, wow. Dumb idiot.
Arthur really liked Galen's enthusiasm.
Aw. Last die. And I think Galen is, like, really excited and, like, looking forward to, like, seeing Arthur in his coffee shop again. Like, his coffee shop. In the coffee shop that he works in. Because God knows it's not his coffee shop. So yeah, that's my third statement. He's, like, looking forward to seeing Arthur again. And also kicking himself for not asking for Arthur's number.
Well, have I got news for you? It's a new scene. A new opportunity.
Hell yeah. It's true, and it's my turn to have a scene be my scene.
Yep.
So I think it's maybe, like, I want to say, like, maybe, like, a week later, or maybe less or more. I don't know. It's not too long after this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's the next day. Actually, fuck it. It's the next day, and Galen has work, because of course he does.
Yeah.
And he's, like, sitting down behind the counter, like, scrolling through Twitter on his phone, like, fantasy Twitter? I don't know. It's Twitter. Mysterious coworker, who was so far only just, like, a female voice, is this, like, very peppy, like, 18-year-old half-orc who is, you know, the moment she's not working, she drops all of the pep and is just, like, the most sarcastic piece of shit you've ever met in your life.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But, you know, the moment she's customer facing, she has her customer service face on and she's ready to go.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's very good. She's got sort of, like, you know, short hair, like a bob around her face, and she's, like, much younger than Galen, but has her shit together so much more.
Mm-hmm.
And does she have a name? Not yet. I don't know what her name is.
She sounds like a Lily.
Lily is a great name. Lily is the name of my coworker who I just found out lives, like, a block away from me.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. It's wild. So yeah. So her name is Lily, and she's wearing, like, a "Hello, my name is Lily" badge, as Galen is also wearing a "Hello, my name is Galen." And then somebody has attempted to scrawl the rest of his names underneath it, but he has crossed them all out. So there's just, like, a bunch of scribbles, like, on his name tag that's been, like, crossed out. I'm retconning that as having always been there. But maybe Arthur just didn't notice.
Yeah, Arthur was too busy trying to read the smudged writing on his hand to notice the name badge.
Smudged writing on his name tag?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Lily is going to be like, "You're all peppy this morning.
You're all happy." Yeah. It's like, you seem rather happy, but also fucking exhausted. Like, are you hungover? You know, she's giving Galen shit for being hungover at work.
Yeah.
And Galen just, like, gives her the finger. Is like, shut up. Leave me alone. I'm suffering because A, I didn't get a cute dude's number, and B, I'm hungover. So, oh shit, that's a dice moment, huh, isn't it?
Yeah.
Side character teases you about your affection for the other character. So that's... Oh shit, I get to take a dice again.
Yep.
I have so many fucking dice.
You better not blow your next roll.
Right? Seriously. So Galen's like, I didn't get a cute dude's number. I went to that, like, fucking museum opening thing. He's, like, real tired. He's like, I went to that museum opening thing. I didn't get this cute guy's number. We talked, like, all night. I got home at, like, 3 a.m. But, like, it was great. I'm really hungover. Don't talk to me. And she's like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like, you're at work. You gotta be fucking doing stuff. Go, like, clean out the grill or whatever so we can make our shitty paninis. So that's what Galen is doing, if and when Arthur comes in that day.
No, Arthur definitely comes in that day, probably around, like, it's probably a little after the lunch hour again. So the coffee shop is not empty, but, you know, it's not crowded.
Yeah, there's, like, one person sitting in the corner, like, reading a book and, like, practicing some sort of, like one-handed spell work with their other hand, like, studying or whatever, and just, like, the occasional cursing coming from that corner.
Yep.
And that's, like, the only person in there.
Yep. Do you think when Arthur comes up to the counter, is it Galen or is it Lily?
Oh, it's absolutely Lily. Like, 100%. Galen is, like, is like, not in the back, but is, like, facing away from the door, not paying attention, because he's not at the counter right now. So Lily's like, hi there. How can I help you? You know, what can I get you today?
I don't think Arthur's hungover, but he's definitely looking like he was also up until way late last night, so he's just like, I need coffee. Please. I'm begging you.
At this, Galen is like, oh, don't worry about it, Lily. I can take this one. And Lily's just got this, like, eyebrow raised, like, no, I got it. Why don't you go finish cleaning out the grill so we can continue to make paninis later? She's, like, giving him this look like, you fucking dare question my authority in this coffee shop, bitch. And so she goes, so you want a large filter coffee?
Yes, please.
Galen just sort of waves at Arthur from behind the counter.
And Arthur kind of perks up a little bit and is just like, I wasn't expecting you to be working today.
Well, you know, the grind is the grind. Gotta, you know, get that money. He looks a little bit miserable.
Arthur chuckles a little bit. Whether Galen intended that to be a pun or not, he's still entertained by it.
It's good. I don't think you meant for it to be a pun, because otherwise he would have said it in, like, the worst possible voice and be like, the grind is the grind. Lily hits him anyways, though. Lily, like, whacks him on the top of the head, because she's, like, much taller than him. Is like, doesn't look like cleaning the grill. Sorry about that. My employees are not always focused on their jobs, but don't worry about it. Here you go. That'll be, like, $2.50 or something. You know, it's cheap. It's filter coffee.
Yeah, and... Arthur puts down a 5 and is just like, keep the change. And he goes and gets the coffee, but he doesn't leave immediately. He kind of putters around a little bit. He's trying not to be obvious, but he's also just kind of like, he's definitely waiting to see if Galen gets off of panini press duty.
Yeah, Galen like pulls like half of Lily's hair down and is like, please just let me have this. And she's like, you're working morning shift for the next week. Go for it. And just like tilts her head to the side. She's like, you know, like, you owe me big time, but take your break now. I was like, thank you. And he just like picks up a fucking biscotti from behind the counter, shoves it in his mouth, and, like, wanders over to Arthur and is like, hey there. So last night was really fun. And, like, sits down.
Yes, it was a very pleasant evening. I'm glad that you got to make it. It was so nice to have somebody who understands the work outside of my coworkers.
Of course. Yeah, no, I mean, art history. It's super fascinating. And he sounds like he's being extremely sarcastic here because he's like flirting, but he's actually like floundering big time because he's like, oh god, I don't know what to say here. Like, I am super interested in art history, but also I'm interested in you. And Galen just like grabs a napkin to like write his number down. And I'm gonna roll all 4 of my dice to try to get this, to try to like write down this fucking number. Fuck. So, you want to know what I just got?
A 1, a 3, and a 2.
I got 2 2s and 2 1s.
Oh, jeez.
So that means that something interrupts.
Can we say that maybe Arthur's phone goes off?
I like that. I was gonna say that there's some disaster behind the counter that, like, immediately demands all hands on deck, like the fucking espresso machine starts bubbling weirdly and, exploding. And Lily is like, alright, your break's over, come fix this, please!
Okay.
Like, I'll see you later. Or maybe, like, both things happen at the same time. So, like, Arthur can't stick around and Galen, like, really needs to go.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go ahead and roll my 2 dice to reciprocate trying to get the exchange of numbers.
Please exchange numbers. So like Galen started off by being like, I'd love to talk to you more about this stuff. It's like super fascinating. And that's when this all happened.
Yeah, and so I rolled a 5 and a 3, and on a
4 to 5 you lose heart and you're too scared to make the move for now.
Yeah, so I think Arthur's just like, you take care of what you need to do. I'll be around.
And then he leaves.
Yep.
Rest in fucking pieces. These idiots are so good at romance.
Yep. All right, and now we both start with no dice in the pool.
Zero dice. So I just put all the dice over there.
Yep.
In a little square of 3x4.
And since we don't have any dice, we don't do reflection, so...
Yeah. Reflection. Galen is now covered in espresso and really unhappy.
Yep. Reflection. Arthur got called back and isn't happy about it because it was supposed to be a long lunch break, so he's cranky.
Fucking pieces. Aw, poor babies.
Hi, it's Dora, and I just wanted to thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed us, please consider leaving a rating on iTunes, telling your friends about us, or tweeting about our show using the FTLcast hashtag. No, seriously, we crave the validation and it helps us out. Your support really means a lot. Thanks again!